Tiz here. So, since yesterday, I've watched the 16 trailer like several more times, and I analyzed it as promised, so that's what this video is going to be, is my analysis video. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy. We're going to start from beginning to the end of the trailer, and then I'll kind of go over each of the parts that interested me, kind of share some theories, and stuff like that. So we're going to start with where you can see them walking. They bring up an area that we haven't seen on the map so far, the Deadlands. Its lands have been completely sucked dry by the Blight, making it uninhabitable. Magic can't even be used there apparently. We can only assume that perhaps this land was maybe another nation that fell in the past. Whether another country robbed it of its crystal, or if the mother crystal simply ran out of juice and died, we can't say. But I am a bit curious as to where this might be on the map of Valisthea itself. Also, the men that Clive are traveling with, we didn't see them in any of the trailers until now, but the man in the lead with his arm resting against his sword's hilt, he's actually Ramu. We see him shifting later in the trailer. As for the other man who's with them and which country they're even associated with, I can't really say just yet. I'm assuming that Clive ends up with these guys after he loses or escapes from the group we see him with in the Awakening trailer. Aw, but look, we get to see Torgal. He's such a big boy. I love him. Now that I got that out of my system, moving on to the introductions to the different nations, we of course start with Rosaria. We don't get to see too much with them, unfortunately, but look, we get to see the back of baby Clive. Apparently his dad looks to capture the mother crystal known as Drake's Breath, which is the Iron Kingdom's mother crystal. That makes sense considering the Iron Kingdom is close to Rosaria, basically their island neighbor. Then we get to see the Holy Empire of Zanbrek. The Empire, unsurprisingly, wants to conquer the realms and have them join his empire. But I mean, every scene we've seen with this guy has made him out to be a real prick, so it's hardly shocking. Now, the guy standing before him is maybe Dion, who has been revealed to be the prince of the empire as well as Bahamut's dominant. The profile on the official site confirms such, though the trailer honestly made it obvious anyway. He's showcased with the other dominants on more than one occasion throughout it, but I was surprised to learn that he's the prince, to be honest. So his profile reads as such: Crown Prince of the Holy Empire of Zanbrek and leader of its noblest and most feared order of knights, the Dragoons. Dion is loved and respected by both his people and his troops, not least for the many times he has turned the tide of battle in their favor. Indeed, songs of the heroism of the warrior prince and his icon Bahamut, king of dragons, are never far from the lips and lutes of I don't know how to say that, but of Zanbrek's bards. But all is not well in the Empire, and the gathering shadows may yet be enough to quell Bahamut's light. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned that I was expecting Bahamut to maybe be a member of the Emperor's family. We see a kid on a throne in the Dominance trailer. As for Dion, I thought he'd be a member of the Guard or something, like maybe their highest regarded knight. Not a prince. But God, is this art not gorgeous? I love the designs in this game. He's so freaking pretty. Based on the scenes we've seen, as well as his profile description, I'm expecting him to be more empathetic than his horrible father. He'll totally sympathize with Clive's plight to save the dying realms and become an eventual ally. I mean, I guess that's obvious because we need to get ourselves Bahamut's powers, but still. Okay, next I'm gonna talk briefly about the Iron Kingdom. I was so excited when I saw that they included them in this. All we knew was what was on the official site about them, and my god, they're absolutely deranged. They're highly religious, worshipping the crystals, yet dominants are basically the devil. They think the world would be better off without them, as his quote in the new trailer pointed out. He believes their souls to be stained and they're in need of cleansing. Also, this is the mother crystal that the Archduke of Rosaria wants to secure. Obviously, as we'll see later in the trailer, the Emperor beats Rosaria to the punch and Rosaria gets ransacked instead. Next, we've got Waloed, which I was butchering the pronunciation for in my past videos apparently. Whoops. Okay, so we start with the sex scene, and we were wrong. Clive isn't the one with Benedicta, it's actually the King of Waloed, who is also Odin's dominant. But I mean, how could we not have gotten that wrong? Look at him, he looks so much like Clive that I'm convinced there has to be a relation between them. Look at him. Like, Dion, he was also added to the official site, and hot damn, this man. We've been spoiled with gorgeous art of both Dion and this man, who are both drop dead gorgeous, I gotta say. Okay, so here is Barnabas's description. Arriving on the shores of Ash as a landless and titleless wanderer, it was Barnabas's skills with a blade that won him a kingdom. And though the local beastmen were to rise in revolt against his rule, Barnabas called on the power of his icon, Odin, to quell the rebellion, nigh single-handedly, bringing the entirety of the eastern continent under the Walooder banner. Now he has an army and navy that rival any in Valisthea at his disposal, yet still the king is drawn to where the fighting is thickest, riding into battle atop his spectral steed and sundering foes with his fabled black blade, or merely observing in the unfolding chaos from the sidelines, a grisly gleam of fascination ever in his eyes. So it sounds like he might be a little bit unhinged, but I mean, at least he's hot, right? I find it really suspicious that he was simply a wanderer before becoming Waloed's king. There definitely is going to be so much more to this guy. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait to learn more about him. I might be something. Oh, and interestingly enough, we did get a quote from Barnabas back in the Dominance trailer.
I unite the dominants, that we may bring an end to the strife, and found a new order to see us unto tomorrow.
I always thought the quote was from Odin's dominant, funny enough, even though I suspected they didn't actually show him. I simply had a gut feeling based on the accent. It was very similar to Benedicta's to me, so I silently connected the dots. Once we get to the next segment, which is the invasion of Rosaria via the Empire, we get to see the hooded figure of the dominant of the other Ifrit. So it's confirmed that there actually is a second Ifrit. I thought that maybe the scene from the Dominance trailer was Clive having an internal battle for control with himself, but it turns out there actually is a second Ifrit. I'm thinking he's gotta be that villainous sounding voice from the end of the Dominance trailer. Whoever he is, he's gonna be the guy that Clive wants revenge against. Whether he'll actually be the main antagonist or not is still up in the air. I think it would be really cool if we spent a good portion of the game hunting this guy down, only to discover that he's actually got some sort of justified intentions. Don't get me wrong, anyone who hurts or kills baby boy Joshua should be put to the sword. But this person obviously knows, like, everything. Maybe their endgame isn't bad and there will be some twist to it all. Next, after the hooded guy shifts into Ifrit, we get a glimpse of the man we saw Clive with in the beginning of the trailer. He too looks prepared to shift, purple lightning collecting around him. I don't know if they sort of placed this clip randomly after the invasion or if Ramu is actually present during it. There is fire in the background, so it's possible that he's in Rosaria at that point, which is crazy. But at the same time, it cuts to Hugo directly after, so they might just be placing random clips of the dominants together. Next, we see a girl with long silver hair being shoved by a soldier as a quote plays, "And so I became their puppet." I definitely think this girl is Jill and that she's taken during the chaos of Rosaria's invasion. Now, you'd think this might mean she'd be taken by the Empire, but the soldiers in the clip with her don't look Imperial. I'm thinking she might end up with the Iron Kingdom somehow. That would make the most sense, as they don't have a dominant, as far as we know. It wouldn't be beneath them to enslave one and force it to fight on their behalf. Otherwise, they wouldn't stand a chance against the other realms. They'd be completely wiped out. I mean, the icons have been compared, like in real life, to nukes. But I'm also leaning towards the Iron Kingdom just because of how they're treating her and kicking her to the ground. Most realms treat dominants with respect, and they even see them as royalty. The Iron Kingdom is the only realm we know of who looks down on them. I feel like we're getting so much in just this tiny bit here, because right after that we see an illness of some kind. I don't know if this illness is connected to the blight, it doesn't really say. All we know for sure is that the blight kills the land, but it wouldn't be surprising if it also took the form of a plague as well. Now we get to see more of the dominants. We can see Hugo, Dion and Benedicta, each of them in quite a bit of distress. I'd assume that when they shift in such a state, that's when they probably end up with the gold or the red eyes that indicate a lack of control over their icon. Now, I know we already knew about the hybrid forms, considering we saw Clive fighting Hugo in the Dominance trailer while he was in a hybrid state. But look at Benedicta. Oh my god, she looks so beautiful. Then we also get to see Shiva in her hybrid form too. They both look so freaking stunning. I love them. Shiva is attacking a group of soldiers, shooting shards of ice into them. They look to be the same soldiers from earlier who were mistreating the girl with the silver hair. Come on, she's definitely gotta be Jill. If so, I love her time skip look. I'm glad they gave her longer hair. She looks so sick, especially in that hybrid Shiva form. After that, it cuts to a battle sequence between Benedicta and Ramuh's dominant. I guess this means we can probably safely assume he's not with Waloed. Honestly, he seems more like a wanderer than Barnabas, especially if he actually was in Rosaria during the invasion too. After some gameplay footage, we see Jill again. This time she has a sword and seems to be free from her puppeteers. She declares, "It is you who will bow to me." Jill was originally taken from her homeland by the Archduke of Rosaria as a political hostage of sorts, so based on that, we can assume Jill was from an important family back before her northern homeland fell. Perhaps she was even a princess, so maybe by this point Jill has learned of her heritage, or she just intends to reclaim it. It cuts back to Odin after that, as he encourages his opponent to show him the strength of their will. However, I feel that his clip was randomly placed here, just to kind of try to trick us and make it look like he and Jill were fighting, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're each facing off against different people. Jill would make the most sense if she was facing off against someone from the Iron Kingdom, while I feel that Odin might be talking to Clive here. Finally, we see this image of the icons. Starting from top left, we have Ramuh, Garuda, and then Titan. Shiva's in the middle, then on the right we have Odin, Bahamut, and Leviathan. Yes, we're getting Leviathan! I'm so hyped, let's go! Interestingly, Ifrit isn't pictured among them though, nor is the mysterious Earth icon that we saw in the Dominance trailer. I'm guessing it's because they're considered to be the dark icons. That makes me so curious though. I mean, does this mean we're still gonna get loads more icons? Because we need a dark icon for each icon pictured here, don't we? Speaking of more icons, the end of the trailer gives us a silhouette of an icon that floats above all the others. To me, it looks insanely eerie, evil even. I can't think of which summon it could really be aside from maybe Diablos, but that's my bias talking. I don't think they'd make Diablos the imposing icon displayed here, as if they're the icon of all icons. Let me know what you guys think this icon could be down in the comments. That, and if you have any thoughts or if you want to bring up something that I missed, I'd love to chat 16 with you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this and that I got you each thinking up theories of your own. Until next time, bye for now!